Hello and welcome to XQ. Today I'm going to do a full demonstration of XQ's Outlook add-in. XQ's Outlook add-in enables you to encrypt emails sent directly from your Outlook account. XQ works cross-platform and lets you send encrypted messages and files to any email application with just one click. Just before getting into the demonstration, I just want to highlight a couple unique differentiators from existing encryption products. XQ provides all the necessary encryption technology directly to the end user. So all of the encryption and decryption events happen on the end user's device. What this means is that XQ as a company has no insight into any of the data that you're encrypting. The only thing that we do store are the keys and policies associated with this data. Kind of add on to this, our entire backend is containerized. So for clients that want to control their entire infrastructure, we have full capabilities of deploying our entire backend into their existing infrastructure, and then they can control and manage all the keys and policies associated with the data. Getting into our Outlook product now, this is built as a layer-on solution to Outlook. We try not to alter the end user's typical workflow, so they can craft emails they normally would, followed by hitting the send button. In my demonstration here, you'll notice that I get a pop-up of whether or not to send the email encrypted. In a typical setting, this will be managed by policies, which I'll go into later. So a user will be guided a specific direction of whether or not to send this email with or without encryption. If I click the send encrypted email button, what's actually going to happen here is my device will encrypt all the contents of this email, so the full body of the email, as well as any attachments, followed by sending this email along its general communication channel. The user on the receiving end will see something that looks along these lines. Just keep in mind that this email here is fully white labeled, so for clients that want to control the imagery messaging around this email, they can totally do so. For an end user that has the add-in already installed, all they would have to do to decrypt this email is simply click this read this message with the XQ Outlook add-in. This will do the same process in reverse. So your device will authenticate you as a user to the key store, request access to this specific key for this specific data. You'll retrieve that key back, and then all the decryption events will happen on your device itself. Additionally to this, one of the most common questions we get is what do I do if I receive an encrypted email but I don't have the add-in? So we do provide a number of options directly within the email itself to install the add-ins for this ease of use. Alternatively, you can click this third option here, which will take you to a customized portal similar to what you're used to on banking platforms. This will push you through a full authentication flow. Here, I was already authenticated on this first tab, so it pushed me directly into the encrypted email itself. Within this, I can reply in encrypted state as well as decrypt any files associated with this email. Here, you'll notice a bunch of additional functionality on the left-hand side. For a typical user, none of this would be displayed on their end. This is only because I am currently an administrator within this workspace, so I have additional functionality. This additional functionality allows you to track and monitor all communications that happen within this platform. So for example, if I drill down into this demonstration email that I just sent, you'll get a full compliance log. So the full who, what, where, when for each individual access attempt. You'll notice here that I'm accessing this email at this time from this location. This whole platform is built with integrations in mind. So for companies using third-party SIEMs, such as Splunk or any of these other tools, this can be fully integrated into those platforms. Additionally to this, you can manage policies within this management portal. So here, if I click on the policy manager, I can create custom policies like I mentioned before. So if the email contains specific messaging, such as CUI, you can force encryption upon this email. So the end user doesn't have that option of whether or not to send encrypted. Additionally, you can even set this up with domains. So if an email is going to a specific domain, such as if you're dealing with a CMMC client, you can enforce encryption upon this email if it's going to a specific domain. Here we also have a number of policy pack templates just directly on the right hand side you can quickly add within your workspace. Here I'm going to initiate a simple policy of just geo-restriction blocking access to encrypted data. Here I'm blocking access from United States and Canada, which is where I'm located. So once I initiate this policy and then click update, this policy is now in effect. So now switching back to the Outlook itself, and I attempt to go through that exact same flow I did before. So clicking this read this message to XQ Outlook add-in, I won't be able to do so. It'll throw me an error that access from Canada and the United States has been blocked by an administrator will get a notification that I attempted access within this region, and they can rectify the situation as they wish to do so. Kind of coming back to this management portal here, I'm going to turn off this policy and go back into the communication suite. One of the additional features that we have within our platform is a remediation functionality. So for example, if you send this email and you've identified a threat within the system, we will also notify you. So if usage is made outside of your typical usage, for example, if you typically access data from British Columbia, Canada, like I'm doing so, and all of a sudden I access data from Romania, an administrator will be notified immediately that an access attempt outside of your typical usage has been made, and they can go directly into the item itself and revoke access to the specific key. What this does is we provide one of two options. So the first option is it'll completely destroy a decryption key associated with the data, and the second of which is it'll temporarily suspend access to this decryption key. So now if I confirm delete on this specific encryption key, and I attempt again to do that same exact flow, so read this message to XQLOOK add-in, I won't be able to do so. It'll throw me an error that this message can no longer be decrypted, and this is my device's inability to actually request and access that key anymore due to that key no longer existing within the key store. One additional thing that you may have noticed at the beginning of my demo is I had a settings panel open on the right hand side. I can quickly reopen that again by clicking the XQLOOK add-in followed by clicking settings here. This allows me to control my settings associated with the encryption. So here I can control the message expiration time, who this message is viewable by, the specific encryption algorithm, whether or not this email has an additional password, etc. This can all be controlled by the administrator directly within the management portal itself. So they can simply click the security settings on the left-hand side, and all the messaging controls are directly below. Here, they can control that encryption algorithm that I mentioned before. They can allow or disallow editing by end users, as well as control the message expiration time.